How did life change for former slaves during this period? Be specific. Slavery would seem to have ceased with the end of the war, but in a few states, this was not the fact. Kentucky was one of these states. Kentucky's laws made it where married slaves had a harder time being freed. Those who had slaves were unsure whether they should be free or not because Kentucky refused to cooperate with the new legislation and was confusing. Many of the slavery problems had to do with Kentucky's laws being nonspecific. The advent of the KKK, or the Ku Klux Klan, and other self-appointed enforcers who intimidated, attacked, and even killed liberated slaves was another challenge that they had to face. During 2 weeks in 1867, 16 white residents were arrested for allegedly abusing former slaves, and over 100 people were killed between 1867 and 1871 in the hands of the Ku Klux Klan and other enforcers. Kentucky was one of the few states that did not secede and had a sizable KKK population. Opposition to liberated slaves was also expressed in the form of onerous apprenticeship contracts, which were essentially slavery in disguise. As a result, many people became desperate enough to commit crimes to survive, prompting whites to claim that this was proof that slavery was good. Despite surviving the racial violence that plagued the state's rural areas, the former slaves had a difficult life. In cities, their living conditions were frequently deplorable, with a deal of food, medicine, and sickness problems. Those who did not volunteer to fight in the Civil War were severely abused and mistreated and targeted by the Ku Klux Klan. Those who did fight for the Union were also mistreated and faced hardships dealing with the KKK. Even though slavery was ultimately ended directly after the war, and later people of color were still badly mistreated.